Hello everyone. My name is Hunter, and this is a spoiler review of Ted Lasso Season 3, Episode 9. And I find myself liking this episode a lot more than Episode 8. Episode 8 kind of frustrated me a bit, but this episode was a great step in the right direction. And so there are four plot lines I want to talk about. Um, the first one I want to discuss is I guess we can start with Nate. Nate has a very simple plot line. So Rupert meets Nate's girlfriend, and he doesn't seem like he likes the fact that she isn't rich or popular or anything, and that she works at a diner. Uh, so what Rupert tries to do is get Nate to go out to a club with him to meet some other women. Of course, Nate is just gonna say, "I don't want to be here." He makes an excuse. He leaves, and he goes spends the rest of his night with his girlfriend. And we're seeing a lot of character development for Nate in this entire season. My only problem with it really is the fact that it isn't involving Ted and the Richmond team as much as I would like it to. It seems like we're dealing with characters. It seems like Nate's entire storyline could be just feel separate from everything else that we're watching here, which can be said the same for Keely, because Keely has a little bit of a storyline here where she officially breaks up with Jack. They are officially broken up. And frankly, I don't know why I should care that they broke up. The show hasn't given me a reason to care about Keely so far, I think. It's just she gets thrown into problem after problem, and I don't really see any of it going anywhere. And I'm honestly just not that interested in Keely's stuff. But she doesn't really have a lot to do in this episode. It's just the only thing that really happens is that she breaks up with Jack. They have a hard time talking. Jack isn't really responding to her. Um, and so that's really Keely's situation. But now we get into the some of the bigger storylines. Roy, uh, this is one I wanted to see more Roy this season, and this episode gave us what I wanted to see of Roy, because he hasn't been given he's been kind of sidelined this entire season, I feel like, so far. But this episode brings him into the light, and he is supposed to be doing a press conference after the game, which Rebecca told him to after Ted couldn't do it because he had to be on a meeting with Henry's teacher. And what does Roy do? He decides to get Beard on it, which is hilarious in itself. Seeing Beard just scream and yell at these at the press here. Rebecca finally just gets on the Roy and tails him off, and I'm so happy she did that because Roy needs somebody to yell at him every once in a while. And the part where she says, get your hairy butt in here" and stuff like that, and Roy turns, looks at the team, and he's like, "You know darn well my butt is not hairy." And then Isaac's like, "He's right. We're all cowards." I thought that was really funny. Um, but eventually, Roy does actually do a press conference. He does the next one after Rebecca has yelled at him, and she told him to stop getting in his own way. So he gets out of his own way. He does the press conference, and he does very well, which makes me think that he may be the future coach of the team if Ted decides to leave. I don't know, but that seems like a pretty good possibility. And then our last storyline here has to deal with Colin and Isaac. So Isaac found out last episode that Colin has a boyfriend, and Isaac is mad. We don't know why he's mad, but we know why he's mad. The show's just not telling us. But it's because Colin didn't feel like he could trust Isaac enough to tell Isaac. I mean, and Isaac is mad. One of the fans in the stands calls the team a derogatory term. So Isaac decides to go up there and try and pummel him. And so I think, what was it? Roy and Beard had to get him out of the stands. They go to the locker room. He's like, he's furious. So then he goes off on his own, while Colin decides to tell the team uh, that he is gay. I kind of wanted to see how Colin would tell the team, but they just kind of skipped that. They kind of skipped to the reaction of the team. They didn't really show Colin telling him. I was just curious. It's not really a point against the episode. I was just curious how Colin was going to tell them. And then Trent goes in to talk to Isaac, and of course Isaac isn't mad uh, that Colin has a boyfriend. He's just mad that Colin didn't tell him that he had a boyfriend and felt that he couldn't trust him. That's why he's mad. Which, if I think this is what everyone was expecting. I don't think there was any chance that Isaac was actually mad at Colin for having a boyfriend in the first place. So, uh, Ted gives his little speech like he usually does. He kind of tells a story about, I think it was a Broncos fan, um, who had to watch all the Broncos games alone. And what was it? Jamie or Beard said, "Are you comparing being a Broncos fan to being gay?" And then Ted was like, I guess I am. I shouldn't be saying that." Honestly, I don't really think he was comparing being a Broncos fan to being gay. I think he was really comparing the situations with each other. I don't. I think it was a more less serious story Ted was telling, but still it's kind of the same principle. Um, which probably why they left it in the first place in the episode. Uh, and so Sam is now the captain because Isaac decided to try and punch a fan in the face for some awful things that fan said. And Jamie, by the way, was just funny. He's like, "Isaac, don't worry, it's just poopy," and that um honestly that should just be Jamie's catchphrase at this point. He says it so much in this entire season. It's really funny. And so of course, they win the game. Collins plays very well because now he's told the team he feels more confident, and um, and so that's really just the end of the episode here. I have noticed that Richmond doesn't really lose and win at the same rate. They kind of either have a losing streak or a winning streak. I just think it's kind of funny that they can't just be average for a little bit. They have to either be horrible or really good. Because right now they said that like they won every game, all their games the past few games. But anyways, if I had to give this episode a grade from 0 to 100%, I think I would give this episode a 75. And a 75 is good. I thought it was a really good episode. So I do thank you for watching this video. I really appreciate it. And without further ado, I thank you for watching and goodbye.